Hello and welcome to An Honest Look in RWBY, where I summarize the not quite titular character of the show. She was the first character we ever saw debuting in the Red trailer, which was more of a proof of concept for how the show would look so that Monty could convince his bosses it was a good idea to support it. Even so, we get a lot of good character shots. We see her standing at her mother's grave looking solemn. This dazed look continues until she gets up close and personal with the Grimm. From there, without a single line of Monty or Miles' ham-fisted dialogue, we get everything we need to know about RWBY. She loves fighting monsters. She livens up as she eviscerates them. She is living her dream. This is later affirmed in the series' pilot episode. She wants to fight monsters because it's fun. She wants to help people because it's the right thing to do, and in her own words, might as well make a career out of it. She doesn't want to be coddled, but she's not interested in glory. She wants to be a normal girl with normal needs. Things like wealth, fame, and power don't mean anything to her. She simply idolizes the idea of being a hero, much like Deku from My Hero Academia or Saitama from One Punch Man. But unlike those heroes, she doesn't struggle to find the power, nor is she blessed with incredible talent. Even her seemingly OP power is only OP to the same monster. God, Team Coffee sucks. Some asshole even made a video about it. Getting back on track, RWBY's appearance in the Yellow trailer only establishes that these two are sisters and their names are Ruby and Yang. In the pilot episode, we see her enjoying fighting the bad guys once again, only to be completely outclassed by Glinda and Cinder. In these first few episodes, we get a fully realized character. For the next 4 volumes, everyone else is just playing catch-up for how fleshed out RWBY gets in these first few episodes. When she gets to Beacon, she tries validating her position to mixed results. Her first obstacle is Weiss, a snobby elitist who didn't exactly have good role models growing up. Through the first half of Volume 1, they have to learn to cooperate. This tension gets resolved in the episode Badge and the Burden, when RWBY realizes what it means to be a leader, and Weiss learns her lesson of being a good teammate. Learning to be a good person takes a little longer. RWBY and the rest of her team kinda disappear for a while after that. Though, RWBY is the one to give Jean the pep talk where she restates the lessons she learned in the previous episode. And in the Volume 1 finale, she simply plays nice for everyone. She befriends Penny, she tries to be the mediator between Weiss and Blake, and true to form is the one that tries jumping in during the finale, only to take a blast to the chest. In Volume 2, she's a little more comfortable in her role as leader. She plans the best day ever, she leads the charge in a food fight. It's her idea to take the fight to Torchwick, all Blake did was whine and mope. Sadly, RWBY gets distracted by Penny and doesn't contribute much to the hunt itself. She does, however, call the shots when the fight ensues, as she should. There's a running theme that, even though RWBY is a leader, she's a terrible one. She routinely abandons her team to fight things herself. I made a joke about it back in my review for the Volume 4 premiere. Between this and the character short, and let's face it, the Deathstalker, her leaving the dance, her going to fight Roman, and her going up Beacon Tower, RWBY really has a problem with leaving her team, doesn't she? But she's not a good leader. Nowhere is this more apparent than in the dance scenes. I've argued that Burning the Candle is among the best episodes in the series. It's what turned me from a casual viewer to an actual fan of the show. At least half of that is with the RWBY scene in that episode. The first half of Volume 2 has a theme of enjoying things while you can. Don't give up, just slow down. You can't spend your whole life on the battlefield. RWBY is given an opportunity to change in the scene, but doesn't. She actually seems displeased by this theme. She does want to spend her whole life on the battlefield, because as I've said, she finds killing monsters fun. And in the very next episode, she displays this when she, alone, confronts Cinder in the CCT. She dances around the truth to further her own goals of becoming that as an excuse to act on the information Blake found in the previous episode. Thus, she puts her team in a very dangerous position that isn't dangerous at all because this is Volume 2, and Volume 2 treats dramatic tension the way Hillary Clinton treats her emails. She then goes out again because of Zwei. She stumbles into the White Fang goons and follows them, falls into a hole, and gets captured. This brings me to another complaint I have for Volume 2. RWBY's punch being weak makes no sense. She karate chopped a guy through a window in the very first episode. She routinely swings her scythe around with one hand. When she punches this guy, it should be like when Vegeta punched Semi-Perfect Cell. RWBY doesn't do much for the rest of the volume. She somehow dodges bullets when she couldn't dodge a grapnel cane just a few minutes earlier. She splits the team up for no reason. She doesn't even get a cool looking fight by the end. Have I mentioned how much I hate the Volume 2 finale? The first half of Volume 3 doesn't do much better. They double down on her enthusiasm, but there's only so much you can double down on before you have to either do something about it or implode. And I'll describe why the Vital Festival was a bit of a flop in the different Honest Look. I do like that it's Ruby that puts the pieces together, even if the actual storytelling mechanics were in absolute need of some oil. And again, she wanders off on her own, which puts her face to face with Mercury. And here they finally do something with this character beyond doubling down on her personality. She is devastated when Penny gets broken, but she fights through the tears and leads the charge into the arena wielding nothing but Penny's discarded sword. She gets her scythe back because apparently she could call her locker from Sun Scroll. Seriously, what? When she sees Ironwood's ship go down, she does the single dumbest, most impulsive, most awesome thing in the entire show. She goes alone to the flagship. There she comes face to face with Torchwick. Now, there's this running arc that Ruby feels bad that she hasn't actually caught bad guys. Cinder escaped back in the CCT, Ruby wasn't able to do anything about Mercury or Emerald, she wasn't able to save Penny. Torchwick escaped 3 times before getting caught, and now he's loose again. This scene with Neo and Torchwick is the best scene in the whole series. It's so good that Batman Falling, a guy who has made it his life goal to take the piss out of Ruby, dedicated an entire video about how awesome this scene is. And it challenges Ruby in a way she never had been challenged before. It takes all her idealistic talk and provides the counter argument. Every line from Torchwick is gold. Ruby has shown to be a terrible leader and is bad at working with others, and that becomes more apparent when Neo and Torchwick display a level of teamwork the show hadn't ever seen. This scene is the most important scene for Ruby, whether she chooses to learn anything from this or not. Miles and Carrie wrote themselves into the exact opposite of a corner. Even after stopping Torchwick, Mary Poppinsing Neo, and saving countless lives by bringing down the gunship, she still isn't satisfied and runs off to save Jean and Pyrrha. And she fails, but unlocks Glowy Eyes Ex Machina, nukes the dragon, and sends Cinder packing. Waking up sometimes later, and she leaves again to save the world. But this time she's got Team Rank. This series isn't going to be talking much about Volume 4 since we don't know where it's leading, and I already have my reviews. The villains are after her. She gets a few great moments, like when she talks to Jean or cuts Tyrion's tail off. A lot of people have a problem with Ruby. I don't see it overall, but she was sidelined a bit in Volume 4. Ruby didn't grow much in Volume 4. But she didn't have to. She was already the most fleshed out and well-rounded character in the show. She had some of the best designs, the most interesting, if impractical, weapon, a semblance that actually reflects her impulsive martyr complex, the most star-making vocal performance in the show.
I mean, the police are alright, but Huntsman and Huntresses are just so much more romantic and exciting and cool, you know? Ruby? Leave her alone!
Seriously, the fact that Lindsay Jones can keep up and give both Vic Mignogna and Shannon McCormick a run for their money may very well be the most impressive thing Rooster Teeth has ever done. And for now, that's enough for me. I'm really looking forward to seeing where they go from here. I'm looking forward to her fated confrontation with Cinder. I'm looking forward to when she actually has to kill someone and live with it. I'm also looking forward to seeing her relationships getting deeper, fingers crossed for Lancaster. So until next time, thanks for watching.